referenced. Because there has been some issues in the past with this, and there are some concerns, we put in condition 11. And then regardless if the condition is in or out, people still have the right to file a complaint and we would investigate. But this makes it clear that if these conditions aren't substantially complied with, somebody could file a complaint and we would investigate, and if it's found that it's upheld, we would bring it back to the commission for action. The planning director is recommending that the planning commission approve this amendment request. Before we conclude, I wanted to bring to your attention that we have received 3 late transmittals. One is from the Hawaiian Acres Community Association, a letter of support. Number 2 is a letter from, let me just pull that out real fast, from Diana Miller, and this was dated December 20th, and it was a letter in response to the comments from the police department addressing those issues. The planning department is also taking time to address the concerns of the police department, and this begins on page 2 of the recommendation. On the last paragraph, it goes on to page 3. And again, some of those conditions that were added were in direct response to those concerns. And then lastly, this morning, we have received a letter from John Leonard, who is representing the association. And this is... Okay. And then it's just been brought to my attention that we have a memorandum in support of the petition for standing in a contested case, which has been submitted to the commission by Jamae Kawauchi. And this is going to be circulated. Lastly, as you'll notice in the background report, the Planning Commission has received a petition for standing in a contested case from Susan Tita. Just for reference, so you understand where she is located. Again, we have Road 8 on the left side of the map, Road C with the subject property on the corner. Ms. Tita lives on Road 10 off of Road C, so she would be traveling past this particular area for access to the property. With that, that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to bring the applicant forward. Okay, I'd also like to call the planning director up at this time also. Yeah, just a real quick representative of the thank you. Could I have this Tina come up also with her attorney? Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth to the Windward Planning Commission today?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I believe we're going to start with the applicant. Sir, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Leonard.
Josh, if you can use the mic. Thank you.
Hold it.
Yeah. You gotta, they're recording, so it's good to put it by your mouth.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Leonard. I understand you have a written statement by me in front of you, everybody. Just for everyone else in the room, I'm Hawaiian Acres Community Association member for 33 years and Hawaiian Acres secretary for 9 years. And I have been supervising the farmers market for 6 years before we found out that it was not legal. I'm not sure what else to say unless you have more questions pertaining to my statement, or would you like to guide me?
Any questions from the commissioners for the applicant? Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Brillhante to go ahead and tell us what he needs to.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chair, as artist, William Brillhante, Deputy Corporation Counsel, appearing on behalf of the Planning Director. I think the submittal by the Planning Director regarding the Planning Director's recommendations are on point, and that's the position the Planning Director is going to take. There is some concerns that were raised by the Hawaii County Police Department regarding potential traffic issues as it relates to the farmers market, which is the request is to have a farmers market 1 day a week from 4 to 6 hour period. And I think those recommendations were adequately addressed by the community association, in which they're going to limit the vendors to 20 vendors. They're going to mandate, and very similar to the issue we had with the farmers market down in HOV. But in this case, it seems like the community association is very, very willing and able and amenable to assisting in the traffic situation, the potential traffic situation, where they're going to have actual association members directing traffic to specific off-road parking areas and limit the number of vendors. And, you know, like Mr. Leonard has provided testimony to the fact that this farmers market has been in operation for about 6 years. So I would assume that the association has a general idea or a reasonable idea as to the number of participants and the number of customers and members from the public that go and frequent the farmers market. So therefore, I think they have a fairly good handle as to what the requirements will be in order to make sure that the road and access and congestion issues are all taken care of in an appropriate and timely fashion. And so therefore, based on the conditions set forth under the Planning Director's recommendation, we request that this special permit be approved.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question. Good morning again, Bill. And I'm sorry, I should have asked this of the staff, but I see that in response to the police department's concerns, there were some added conditions of approval, on-site parking, signage, parking attendant. Were those added conditions communicated to the police department, and did we hear back from them?
I'm going to have to defer to...
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have asked you. I didn't pick up on it until after.
Thank you, Commissioner Hawaiian. We had asked the President, Diana Miller, if she would address those concerns. We have not provided the police department with our recommendation. I did personally speak with Captain Jelsma and let him know the situation, and I think he felt that he was more comfortable with it. I did ask Ms. Miller if she could get a follow-up response from the police department. My understanding is that they had mentioned that they would try to get one out, but it doesn't appear that we have received one by today. There is a letter from her, again, that was sent directly to the police department in response to that. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Thank you, Mr. Brillhante. After this meeting. Susan.
My name is Jamae Kawauchi. I'm an attorney for the state's office of the
Excuse me, Commissioner, before we go forward, I'm going to object to the representation by Ms. Kawauchi at this time. And the reason for that is the Hawaii County Code, which is codified in the Code of Ethics, specifically prohibits former county employees from representing a party in front of a county board or commission within a 12-month period of time from the date that they left service with the county. It's my understanding that Ms. Kawauchi previously served as the county clerk, and subsequent to that she served as a prosecutor with the county of Hawaii. And it has been only an approximation of about 6 months of time in which Ms. Kawauchi has terminated her services employment with the county. And the reason I'm bringing this up is what I requested yesterday from Ms. Kawauchi, and unfortunately I didn't get a response, is, this issue came up regarding the post-employment requirements. And I expressed to Ms. Kawauchi, and I requested that she obtain an informal decision from the County Board of Ethics regarding her availability to appear in such a short period of time in front of this commission. And unfortunately, I didn't get a response from Ms. Kawauchi. And the reason I'm bringing it up today is to protect the record. Because what happens is any member from the public can file a complaint against Ms. Kawauchi's appearance here in front of the board. It doesn't have to be myself, it doesn't have to be the applicant, it can be anybody from the public in regards to a violation of the ethics code. And the problem with that is that if the Ethics Commission or the Board of Ethics makes a determination that Ms. Kawauchi was precluded from appearing in front of this committee because of the post-employment requirements, what that could ultimately do is void any determination that was made by this commission, whether it be in favor or in opposition to the applicant. I think that would be unfair to the process. So what I'm doing is I'm requesting at this time that we continue this matter. We request Ms. Kawauchi in the interim period of time to obtain an informal determination from the Ethics Commission. And the reason I say that is because it protects the process. And under the rules of the ethics rules, specifically Rule 2-91.2G, it says a former officer or employee shall not be deemed in violation of this section of the code with respect to conduct which conforms to an advisory opinion of the board, and none of the sanctions of this section may be applied. So therefore, once Ms. Kawauchi receives a determination that she is not in violation of the ethics code, then it protects the process, and that's all I'm looking for at this time. And that's why I'm requesting and I'm objecting to Ms. Kawauchi's appearance at this time.
Director, may I have an opportunity to respond?
Actually, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. My fellow commissioners, please help me with that.
I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss these matters, just the right, and that the planning director and Mr. Brillhante be included in our executive session.
Second. Anybody opposed, commissioners? Okay, so at this time, we're going to go into executive session. Mr. Brillhante, we're asking that you stay with us. Sorry, folks, to do this so early in the morning. We'll make it quick. All right, thank you for your patience. Windward Planning Commission is now in session. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Kawauchi, if you would stipulate to a continuance in order to get that opinion from the Board of Ethics. We can continue this next month.
Hi, good morning, Chairman Gonzalez and members of the Planning Commission and Planning Director Kanuha. My name again is Jamae Kawauchi. I represent petitioner for standing, Susan Tita, to take up the matter that Mr. Brillhante has disclosed to you today. I'd like to make a statement prior to answering the question, if I may. I'm concerned that what Mr. Brillhante has brought before you has not been placed on your agenda. The matter of the representation of a client and whether or not I have an ethical issue related to my employment with the county is not an agendized item. In my opinion, you are at risk of a violation of the Sunshine Law, and I would ask that you seek the opinion of your corporation counsel to determine whether or not you just violated the Sunshine Law by discussing this matter in executive session when it was not agendized today. As to answering the direct matter, I will tell you that the allegations made by Deputy Corporation Counsel, Mr. Bill Brillhante, are not founded. There is no substantiation to his allegation that I have or will be, by representing Ms. Tita today, be in violation of the Hawaii County Code related to work performed after employment or service has ended with the county. Mr. Brillhante, in his statement earlier, has failed to include within his paraphrasing of the Hawaii County Code that that it's subject matter related. That the employment, if you're an employee of the county and you work on a particular matter that relates to something you're taking up after you left the county, then, Mr. Brillhante, I would like an opportunity to speak.
We're gonna let her have her say.
Thank you, Chairman.
But then we're gonna continue.
Thank you, Chairman. Subject matter related. So he has failed to include that in his discussion that he made publicly today. Okay, I have not had any matter within my employment as Hawaii County Clerk or as a Deputy Prosecuting Attorney related to this case come up. This application for amendment was filed in October of 2013 and long since left the county at that point. Okay, so I have nothing related. I've never had any kind of topic related to this amendment application come up while I was an employee. Okay, so I want to alleviate your concern. Now, with respect to your request, however, my client would be amenable, would not oppose the continuance, but not on the grounds not on the grounds that were raised by Mr. Brillhante. We are amenable to a continuance to allow us to have a discussion with the Community Association to see if something can be worked out with them. My understanding, last night I tried to communicate with the association president last evening, was unable to get in touch with her. She left a message for me late last night. I picked it up at about 10 o'clock last night. I wasn't able to give her a call this morning. Okay, my understanding is that the association has a board meeting scheduled for this Sunday. My client has authorized me to attend the meeting with her. And my understanding is through the board representative, Mr. John Leonard, that he has no objection to me coming to the meeting as well on Sunday. Maybe we can work this situation out and avoid any further work for the Planning Commission to have to resolve. So on that ground, my client would not oppose a continuance, and we appreciate the Planning Commission's courtesy with that regard and understanding. So thank you very much.
Briefly.
Again, William Brillhante, Deputy Corporation Counsel. First, again, to clarify the record, I haven't made any allegations regarding any impropriety with Ms. Kawauchi representation here today. The only reason I raised this issue is to protect the record. Like I stated before, there is specific language codified under the Hawaii County Ethics Code regarding post-employment prohibition, and it's specific to that. And Ms. Kawauchi has articulated justification as to why she feels she's not in violation of the code. I think that's very appropriate. Unfortunately, this is not the venue for that argument. The venue for that argument is front of the Board of Ethics. And that's all we're requesting, is that before we go down this road regarding the likelihood or even the mere possibility of a violation of the code, I'm protecting the process. We should get an informal opinion from the ethics, the Board of Ethics. And that's all I'm wanting to have here done today, is that we get that determination before we move forward with the hearing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask the other commissioners, what what you think, if anyone's got anything they want to say. If not,
I just would like an opinion, on the sunshine law, as far as the agendized item representation is not, in my opinion, something that would be on an agendized item, so I can't see a violation of the sunshine law. I would like your opinion.
Yeah, in terms of this body, I think that's beyond the scope of what would be agendized for the Windward Planning Commission. The issue is more with the Board of Ethics.
Well, with that, I would like to make a motion that we move continuance with an opinion from the Board of Ethics to the Director on this matter of representation from a former employee.
does anybody want to second that?
Second.
With that, any discussion from other commissioners? Personally, if they're asking for a continuance just to try and work it out, wouldn't that be a better way to go at this point? Rather than asking for an opinion from the Board of Ethics, when it may not be necessary, if they can just solve this, come back next month, and none of this has to be this way. Yes, sir?
If they do work it out at the association meeting, then it's going to come up at the continuance, I believe, right? And make it a point.
Counsel?
Well, I think we should act on the motion. I would advise you to vote on the existing motion right now.
Would you like to go ahead and have a vote on your motion, Commissioner?
And if we don't vote on the motion and they don't work it out, we're right back where we started. And all these people that came out to testify will come out again, and we'd have to do the motion at that time. If they work it out, it's all moved and we can move forward.
Okay, then I guess we'll ask for a vote.
Excuse me, please. May I speak before we vote?
No, I'm sorry, there's a motion pending.
Yeah, I think we have to
There's a
continue
motion
on.
pending right now.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask for a clarification. The motion before us is to, my understanding is have a letter brought to the planning director regarding the matter. Do we want to be more specific as to a letter from a particular person and also a time frame?
It was stated Board of Ethics with informal opinion.
Okay, in regards to this matter. Okay, and
It was in regards to the representation
okay, in regards to representation
by a
and
former employee.
next to the next planning commission meeting.
That sounds reasonable, yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Honestly, I don't know how long it would take to try to render an opinion get an opinion on this particular matter from the Board of Ethics. What we could do is remain in communication with Mrs. Kawauchi and see if, once we get that opinion, at that point we can go ahead and schedule. Because I don't want to schedule something in advance, and honestly, I have to set the schedule by next week, Monday, so I would prefer that we leave it open until we have the opinion at hand, and at that point I can go ahead and properly schedule. If that's okay with the parties, that is.
Well, is that okay with you, Commissioner Miyasato?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, with that, I'll take the motion. Thank you. Commissioner Miyasato,
Aye.
Commissioner Henkel,
Aye.
Commissioner Hale Kalani.
Aye.
And Mr. Chairman. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Moses
Aye.
and Mr. Chairman. Aye. The motion passes 5-0.
Sorry, Dave, I was thinking